Hello. What's up? It's all happening then. Hi to anyone I missed. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Hey Craig. Hey everyone. I saw Chirpy there before. I saw Knackler's Workshop. Saw Wazzo and Stuart. Uncle Bob's Bees. Stephen Lang. I apologise for the joke before. Videos of various fruits. Yep, we're right here with it. Hey Mats. Everyone else I missed. What's happening? Not very much. What's it? Oh, Everett's Workshop. G'day, Everett. Special guest tonight, it looks like. Everett's Workshop. Go and check out Everett's Workshop if you don't already. Awesome channel. What's been happening? Have some clear tube. Thanks, Fridge. Thanks for the note, the reminder to start. I felt like sending you a message saying the live stream was over and it was an hour ago, but I knew you wouldn't like that. Yeah. I'm just going to change this because I'm not sure I get all the messages. Hang on, live chat. Yeah, I don't know why it goes to the other. But anyway, I've swapped that over again, so I should get everything all night tonight. I have a pump almost hooked up, and I had every intention of being able to demonstrate it working tonight, which is cool because I made a couple of elbows. And I found some clear tubing, etc., etc. Hey, Dennis. Good video from Dennis. Must have been last week. Gosh. There was another one promised, but I haven't seen that. But I don't have any rubber belt is where I'm at with this. That's what I don't have. Is this bit of belt is just a bit of flexible printer filament, which really isn't up to the sort of the job. Probably I could print a belt that might work. I don't know how long for. So, hey Russ Knox, good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. It's awesome to see you. So anyway, got this bolted on a board. Haven't got a belt yet. I thought I had some green rubber, like 3mm green rubber belt here somewhere, a 4mm rubber belt. And probably I do, but I've got no idea where it is. So I've given up on that. I have to spend an hour, 2 or 3 hours or something looking for it on the weekend. Good to hear, Russ Knox. So we haven't as yet got this working. So that's something that's going to happen at some point. Started on a gas valve for this engine. Wow, that's a bit harsh, Dennis. Wow, okay. Hey, Nigel. So this pump isn't working, but next week maybe we'll have it pumping into a tank, all right. Maybe next week we'll have this running too. Because I've nearly finished a gas valve. I had to wait for I was going to single point thread for the gas valve seat, but yeah, chicken out of it. So I might just get a tap. I'll get it in the morning. So apart from that, hey Tom, Saw a picture of you and Craig and Tom and another YouTuber. Maybe you could enlighten us about that. Seemed a little bit something that we didn't know about. So I'm guessing everyone's waiting for an answer on that one. Gas valve's still in the lathe, waiting for the middle hole to be threaded out, and then it's got to have another hole drilled and tapped, and it's ready to go. He's everywhere, yeah. Wasn't a bad effort. Whoever did that was pretty clever. So anyway, gas valve's getting that way for this. What else? I started another project, sort of. I never sort of started a project. I got it to the stage that I can make some video. More about that later on. Might see a video about that this week, or you might not. So there you go. That's all I'm telling you about that. That was pretty mean, wasn't it? Got a parcel today from Prussia, which is more 3D printing, filament and stuff. Don't know if that's of any interest to anyone. This is beautiful stuff. This knife's actually sharp for the first time in its life, and I kept cutting my finger, which isn't doing me any favours really. Oops, sorry. So that's pretty sexy roll of filament there. $4 AM, gosh, I wouldn't have got up at 4 AM for a live streamer anyway. But anyway. Open this because it's going straight on the printer when live stream finishes. Look at that, it's all layer wound. Nice lightweight spool. Pretty sexy roll of filament that. So, two of them. One in that colour and one in green. Hey John. What else happened? Gosh, what else happened? No mail. I picked up a couple of carbide burs. Let's shift this. It's in the way. Plastic wrap on the floor here everywhere from my parcel. Picked up a couple of carbide burs today. Another one too. We have a guy who travelling salesman for a dentistry equipment supplier that we buy stuff off from work. He had some old stock carbide burs. Picked them up today, so pretty pleased with that. His prices are usually pretty reasonable. And they'll go in the Dremel box. No belt for the pump. Maybe next week we'll have the pump running. I ordered a belt, but I at the moment haven't got one. I thought I had a bit of rubber belt for it somewhere, but obviously not. Anyway, otherwise I'm sort of waiting. You're going to see the engine running. Well, good to see you anyway, Everett. That's awesome. There's a spare one with my grinder. There we go. Someone said there's a spare one with my grinder. Thanks, John. It's probably a little bit short. And a little bit bigger diameter, and I can't put it on the pump without pulling the pump apart. So that's not much good for anything. But I'll find some of this. Probably the local bearing place has some. A bit smaller diameter than that'll do. But that's what we need. And I don't really want to cut that and join it again. But we have a dentist supply guy who's really, really good. He supplies a lot of stuff. And one of my work colleagues is a dental student, so he buys a lot of stuff too. So it's kind of nice to have someone to sort of supply this stuff. And they're certainly a lot cheaper than Dremel parts, or a lot cheaper than eBay even. These were like $15 Australian each, which for a carbide burr is a decent solid carbide high-speed burs is pretty decent. I'm pleased with that. I don't know what else. I'm printing a box actually. This roll of filament is for a box for the Stefan Goswender indicator, which needs its own box because it's getting kicked around in the toolbox like this. So I might print a box and cut out a foam. I got some like cut out foam, toolbox foam to house it, and we'll see how that looks next week too, because it's sort of well on the way. So what's the other news? What is everyone else up to? Steve Lang gave us a museum tour this week. Chirpy gave us a grinder update, I think. Did I see that? Yeah, I think it was a grinder update. Apparently there's a workshop update from Everett. We should go and check that out. Chirpy says no one's posting content, so you said that this week to me, so obviously we need to try a bit harder. For Chirpy. Apart from that, I've been pretty slack really this weekend. I did make all the bits up and got most of all the bits half made for the gas valve. I've got a tray full of small bits that are going to get lost if I move it around. And I've got the main body of it still set in the 4-jaw chuck. So hopefully that's fixed our some of our starting problems. Go Create's making a baby bench vise. That sounds awesome. Hope you show that on video, Nigel. Good video from Nigel this week about detailing cylinders and doing some cheating CNC cutouts that look really amazing. But I think probably American creators are getting a bit, things are getting a bit on top of them. And I wonder whether some creators are getting probably not recommended because they're posting the same stuff week after week. I don't know how you fix that. I know that I'm not posting anywhere near as much as I would like. I have recommenced, or I've got into another project, which will go on YouTube. While I'm finishing this off, it might be 4 or 5 episodes at this rate, which will be exciting. And by that time, I should have this pretty well ready to go. It could do with some oil. And we might be able to also need some oil in the oil can. I don't know whether I'm going to put whey oil in that oil can or motor oil back in and hydraulic oil or whatever. Don't know yet. Probably put whey oil in it, but I don't want to put whey oil in engines because it's too expensive. So I really need another oil can. That'll bring our compression up pretty lively. Hopefully there's enough to go. Still excited to get this going, but things are one each week's pretty ambitious actually. Life and work intrudes sometimes, yeah. Everett's got plenty enough to do, as looks like. I think we all have, really. I mean, you can't knock yourself about for not posting videos. 3 months pretty good. I've been a bit slack. I probably post 2 a month and live stream every week, which is pretty boring, really. The live stream's just a cop out because all the build on this isn't finished yet. Yeah, it's certainly not on YouTube. I'm only up to about... I've been posting videos for this. I'm sure you're all on top of that. I've been posting videos for this on Patreon, which is awesome because there are some people who support me there, and I really, really appreciate that. And on Patreon, we're up to video 33 I'm editing at the moment, which is pretty crazy. That's the pump and everything, and hopefully at some point soon it'll run, and then everyone will lose interest. But up to about part 16 or 17, so we're about to bore the cylinder on YouTube, but that's 12 months ago, so a bit slack there. So set the lathe up to single point thread, cut a thread, and discovered there's a bit missing out of the compound that I made for the thread cutting attachment, and I've got no idea where it is. So somewhere here in amongst the debris, probably on the floor behind the lathe, is a little pin, a 6mm by about 30mm pin with 2 grooves in it, and I've got no idea where, so I'm going to have a bit more of a look, but I've sort of turned the place upside down this weekend looking for it, to be honest. No idea. Thanks, Stuart. only post any bits of useful content to share. Well, that's not a bad effort, because if I only posted when there's something useful to share, I probably wouldn't post at all if we go on there. What else? I really want to make a lantern chuck, amongst other jobs. I've got a live centre here that's not much good for anything. Hey, JB. Right, this come all the way from Europe. It's a nice, oh well, it was once a nice live centre. It's a genuine launch one. It's the launch 2 collets, 12.5mm collet mount and drawbar, which means it fits the headstock on my lathe, but I don't have a launch 2 tailstock. And the bearings are a bit worn in it. They're getting a bit wobbly. And when you put this in here and clock it up, it looks like it's probably been dressed up with a file or something, because it's not round. So probably you could set this up and cylindrical grind it. I could put this in a collet and probably grind this reasonably nice in the D-bit grinder without too many problems. Or get someone to grind it properly. However, as it is, it's not much use to anything. To be honest, it's the live centre in the headstock isn't much good to anyone. And I guess there was a tailstock. Stuart's Workshop's looking awesome. If you want to see pictures of Stuart's Workshop, go over to Discord, to the server there, because the link's down in the description. But he posted some pictures there. Anyway, I've got this centre, and while that's all well and good, and probably once upon a time it was a pretty good centre, it's about 50 years ago or more, probably 70 years ago, and I'm wondering whether I keep it and just put it in the cupboard, or whether I turn it into a lantern chuck, which is sort of where I'm thinking at the moment. If I'm perfectly honest, I'm sort of tossing up whether that's a good idea or not, or whether I just put a set of bearings in it and put it back in the cupboard in case. Because a tailstock might turn up one day with this particular collet in it, which it probably won't too, because I don't think I've ever seen one. Anyway, thoughts on that? Got no idea. Anyone got any questions? You're all sitting there like knots in a log, actually. It's sort of... Who's got some... Someone must have some questions or ideas or thoughts or something. Because I need another project like a hole in the head. And I also really would like a lantern chuck for shortening up screws. I think that'd be awesome. So that's where I'm at. That's something that's... I don't know how hard this is or how straight that is. It could be that the wobble isn't actually in here. It's actually in here, because it could be bent. Now There's every chance of that too. And if it bent, it'd bend here, I imagine. Put it in without tightening it up properly, that's where they'll bend. It could be that the wobble's in the top here. Could be too, I think. So I might clock it up at some point and see. This has got some nasty vice grips in here because someone's tried to run a die or something on there, I reckon. I don't know what's happened there. But that's the launch accessory, and it's awesome. It's not even in the book, but Greg, there's always one. Every group, there's always one. Did I get the engine running? No, I didn't. Not yet. I'm working on it. We're getting very close. Progress hasn't stopped. It's just not happening in any visible form at the moment. Waiting for a tool. Darren Radcliffe in the UK sent pictures of a nice little lantern chuck, that quite a well designed thing with a backstop and everything in it for his watchmaker's lathe, and that's what I would sort of like, with interchangeable discs for holding screws. What did I make the base of the engine out of? I haven't yet. I've got what I've got so far. I've got this bit of nice 3mm stainless steel that I'm going to polish, or I'm going to peel the back off. Right. There we go. I'm probably going to get laser cut a piece of polycarbonate or acrylic or something, 16mm thick or 18mm thick or something, the same shape as the base, to prop this up so I can get my fingers under here, also that I don't get my fingers caught under there when it fires, and bolt that on there. I've got 2 bolt holes in the bottom of the pump, and I'm going to bolt that on there too. I've got holidays. There's some exciting stuff. I've got a week off at the beginning of November. Trip to the foundry. Got to make a base for the radiator, and I've got a pattern there from, what's the wood block it's sitting on at the moment? It's just a bit of pine. It's just glued up. It's all split. It's awful, but that'll do for a bit, so I can screw it to the bench. Got a drawing of which? The other casting I've got to get done is for John Creasy, which is a casting for a rear tool post for Myford. So that's in brass, I guess, or something like that. So that's another one that's been sitting here for a while through lockdown. The laser cut acrylic, I have got a drawing, absolutely. JB, I'd have to just double check it because the casting come out eventually. It's not a big deal though to draw around the pattern, or draw around this and mark it out and measure it up. Wouldn't take me long. You've probably got plenty to do though, JB. The other thing that I'm making, excuse me, will be a base that looks something like this for the radiator base. Might be a little bit taller. Still got to make a pattern for that. This 3D printed one isn't exactly really how I'd like it. I'd like bigger lugs on there to match these. These are a bit light on. And I'd like it probably that much taller, I think. And a few little changes, but there we go. That's the other thing. So they're the foundry projects. I've still got to make a pattern for that. Staircase clamps are over there in the corner. If I move this box, you can just about see them. Need to get them finished. I've got all the metal here to do them. Something held me up. I can't remember what it was. Probably great reluctance, but they're most of the parts are all made. It's just the red pieces and the white pieces there. Can you see that? Put this back here. We've got, I'm not sure about these T-bolts really. I think they'll be alright, but we may have to redesign that. I'm sort of, jury's open on that. Gosh, this stuff's going rusty. It's time I did something about this. Thanks for the reminder. So I've got a stack of cast iron here. To make take care, Craig. Catch up sometime. Hope you get home all right. Travel safe. So I've got boxes. I've got a great heap of cast iron here that I need to sit down and make some chips. And the reason I think I stopped is because I couldn't get, or I never had at that point. We had the great carbide insight crisis of 2020 then, and I never had any inserts to machine these, so I didn't get started on them. But they're pretty straightforward, really. If we pull this one apart, sorry. The theory is we should get these out of this piece here. What I'm probably going to do is mark the centers properly and machine a spigot on one end so that I can hold that in the chuck, and then I'm going to machine the outside and this hollow on the inside, cut this out, bore this out in the center, and then put them probably just in the chuck and run a cutter past here and cut most of this out on two sides, and then we can set them up and cut these stair clamps, and then when that's all done we can turn them upside down and cut the spigot off the outside, or saw the spigot off and machine them. That's the theory for that. Mr. Z, not really. I only know of two. If you jump on the Discord and then say hello, I can probably invite you to the other one. But I don't know if there's a lot of Foundry involved in it. We should have a Foundry page on ours. So if you want to make a contribution to that, it sort of requires someone to make noise before it actually works, and then people will reply. So love to see you. What is this supposed to attach to? These are a staircase clamp or a hold down clamp or a low profile clamp that a German idea. They were Deckel patent, I think. They go in a T-slot like this on my mill, and they clamp there with a support at the back that's adjustable height on the staircase. So you can bolt this right down there, or you can bring it up here, and that gives us a hold down on this side. So basically it's a single support hold down that's adjustable height. And these I've made already. I made these out of, these are actually pretty nice. I really like these. I made 4 of these from 01, which was complete and utter ludicrousy. It's crazy. So I bought 4 the springs for them. I've made all the T-bolts, sort of. I'm probably going to make some of them again. And I still need to make these bits, which is what I've 3D printed a prototype and managed to get all the geometry worked out, I think. But these I will probably make from the cast iron. There's a fair bit of that gets chopped out though, so that's the theory there. And then we need 4 of these, 2 of different heights. There's 2 low ones and 2 higher ones. So that's where we're at. If you want to know about Discord servers, Chirpy might be your guy. So there we go. That's a project that I started a while back and I need to get finished. Basically, it's a matter of machining up about 3 kilograms of cast iron chips off these huge stacks of cast iron bar. Got all the materials there. It's just a matter of actually getting in and making them. So chucking them up. Another thing is I needed to reverse jaws on my three-jaw chuck to do these, so that's another reason why probably they never got start finished, but that's all fixed too. So we can probably get in and just actually spend a bit of time machining these at some point. You may see some progress on these now. I've actually got them back out on the bench. So that's a project. These were a crazy big job. There's 4 of these. They're 01. They're really nice. I'd like a box of these. Huge box of these. I probably should just... To be honest, if someone's looking for a YouTube channel idea and has got some video editing and some skill with making videos that people watch, there's room for a whole channel on work holding and hold down clamps. I think you could make hold down clamps and work holding attachments for the lathe and milling machine pretty much non-stop for another 10 years and not run out of ideas and projects. There's so many things that I could use or I would like. I could just keep going and make work holding devices and nothing else, I think. Who's Joe Pye? Anyway, not going there, not mentioning Joe Pye or Quinn Dunkey. There we go. Too late. I've already done that. But yeah, this old hold down clamp would be a great channel. I think there's a lot of, I mean, people like Harold Hall have written books about work holding and hold down clamps. Fairly interesting. Lots of cool ideas. But this is one of them. I don't know if it's a crazy idea, but I just need to sit down at the lathe and actually do some machining. Get the vacuum cleaner going. But yeah, gripping stuff. That's right. Most of my setups, and if you follow this engine build at all, or any other engine build I've ever made, most of my setups are pretty sketchy, actually. So I can relate to that, Everett. We kind of tend to. There's some pretty sketchy stuff in this. So there's no shortage of new projects, and I've got a locomotive tender here that needs some work too. So at some point I'll get onto that. It's just a matter of getting here in the workshop and making some chips. That's where we're at with it. That would be awesome, especially on light machines. There's some good stuff out there available still. Like there's some good machinery available even for Sherlines and Unimats and things like that. Guy from South America makes a lot of cool stuff. Someone will know his name. I should know. The sketchy is as sketchy does, but at this point, probably should just get in and actually make some things. Yeah, totally. Work holding is sort of a fairly interesting subject, and there's a lot of it. And something to do every day. I spend more time setting the mill up than actually, I guess everyone does, setting the mill up than actually doing machine work. So you can't have enough hold downs or set up clamps. And especially on a small mill, compact solutions like this on a little mill that's only, the table's really only a foot long. These sort of things are a pretty useful thing. And I think they're going to work. Yeah, Louie Alley, he does some cool stuff. Some really nice work holding and tool solutions for small lathes if you can afford them. But compact ideas like these are pretty good, and these are good, even with the 3D printed parts. And probably you could make these out of aluminium quite easily. But even with the 3D printed parts, you can clamp these tight enough to use now. Not going to do any damage to them. You can really wrench something down pretty tight with these, even as they are now. And a couple of times I have used them because that's all I had. So that's one project. There's other projects as well. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious. Sorry about that. There's a big yawn happening there. I guess everyone else yawned as well. It's been a fairly big week for me already. And I haven't actually done anything. It worked mostly. It didn't shift if you kept adjusting the bolts. Rustanox does a lot of work holding videos. I think there was one very recently. Should go and check out his channel too. It's a good channel. Don't know if I've said that before, but Rustanox does some awesome stuff. I don't know if there's much else happening, to be honest. We've pulled old projects out from under the bench, and I don't know if that's really helped anyone. Makes everyone feel like they actually don't have as many projects on the go as I do. But at this point, that's the next part of the engine build. And while we're at it, we might as well finish that one as well. I had sort of two minds to cast these in bronze, but I don't think I will. I've got this cast iron sitting here, so I might just make them up. And at some point I want to... I've got bananas stuck in my ears. And there's a couple of boilers over here while we're on it. Steady rest is here. Probably going to throw it back in the furnace, to be honest. I'm not sure this can be saved to be any good, which is a bit of a pity. But it's not set up right. It's the wrong way it opens, and one of these holes ended up offset. So while it's a really good concept, another casting might be the answer to this. I don't know. I have thoughts to use this base for something else. I've got another idea for this, because you never have enough bases that actually fit the machine. But I don't know. Probably, I don't know about this steady really. I'm probably going to redesign the pattern completely, I think, and see how it ends up. I think the pattern would be better if it was hollow in the bottom, with a bit less weight in here, and it might pour better because you've got all this mass in here and you get a crazy amount of shrinkage around the ports or around the gates in the front. And that was most of the problem, is that there was just way too much shrinkage in it, and that made it hard to pour. So probably I'm going to redesign this. I'm probably going to chop it off and turn this round and put this on the other side, I think, and mess around in the bottom here, and we'll see. And that's as far as the pattern goes. And this one, I might cut this off and make something else out of the base. So there we go. That's update on there. Take care, Dennis. Good to see you. And keep well. Got a couple of boilers that need burners. I have two boilers that are pretty much finished. And I have this box of bits. this is probably a quick project I can finish fairly quickly as far as the boilers go and get one sent. These are castings from Chirpy, which are pretty awesome. Drop bits everywhere. It's a stainless steel sleeve that someone made me, thank you. And the cylinder, and a bed, and a flywheel that's the zinc casting, and a couple of cylinders. These are actually pretty good, because I was looking at some Stuart Turner castings from the UK. New Stuart Turner castings last night. And to be honest, I'll kick that over there. These are probably better castings than them. They're better designed. The bosses are actually in the center. There's no really huge difference on the parting lines, and they're probably fairly nice. They're parallel all the way around. I think they're probably better than Stuart castings. So there was a collab that we decided on, but it's a long time ago, and I don't think Chirpy's forgotten about it, and he hasn't got anything else to do, the same as me, so he's probably waiting for them. I do have thoughts on making that steady into something that might be really useful. So there was a launch accessory that might be really helpful to have. We'll think about that. So got these, and the deal was, these are pretty good castings, Chirp. Like, really they are. And they're not too shabby at all. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. And this is a fairly nice casting too. Absolutely no weight in it. But I think these would machine up really nice, and we've got some drawings for them out of Popular Mechanics, because you know I love projects that have 2 pages of sketches out of 1930s and 40s magazines. Right, and on top of that we've got 2 of these, which are finished, tested, ready to go. I don't think that there's a ball in the safety valve. I don't think the safety valves are set yet. And we don't have a burner, which is still to come. But apart from that, we've got pretty tidy boiler really, with like pipes in the bottom. I think there's 4 pipes, something like that, under here. So it should be pretty efficient boiler. We just need some sort of burner, and I'm still thinking about that. No real resolution on that. Propane burner's all right, but it needs something fairly. A ceramic burner might be a good answer. I don't think that the spirit lamp that was shown in the drawings is particularly efficient. That's where I'm at with that. I reckon probably this is probably a pretty good little boiler design. It's just that the burner that was with it, which was a spirit burner, really isn't good enough. So still thinking about that. But butane ceramic or a tube boiler burner of some sort, that's kind of, if you've got some ideas, Chirpy, send a sketch and I'll make something up. because at this point I'm a little bit lost on that. Yeah, ceramic burners roar a bit. I'm a bit lost on this, Chirpy. So while you're standing there and thinking about it, if you've got a bit of paper at some point, do a sketch and take a picture of it and send it through to me, or something, because Metho's fine, but this is about twice the volume of a Mammoth boiler. I'll have a look at that. Bob, I'm not sure about that, but anyway, I didn't see it. Anyway, there's two of these. They're both about the same state. They've both been tested. They could do with a polish, absolutely. That's not a big deal. And this needs a fibre washer and the bowl in here, and they need putting in the pump and setting. That's not a big deal either. I've got all the gear to do that. I've actually got balls here now. And we need burners. That's what it really needs. So these are looking pretty good. I'll post you one, but give me a heads up what you're thinking of for a burner and I'll make some. There you go. I'd like to get one of them sent to you, another one, because when I've got this sent, I can make a start on this engine, which is what the engine's for, is this little burner, this little boiler. Actually, it's a huge big boiler for a little engine. So I made a Kenneth Wells style burner for this. Quite a fairly vicious little burner, actually, a fairly big flame. And I had no luck with it at all. It's just not getting hot enough to run. So there we go. It's not a real steam engine boiler unless it uses coal. Thanks for that, Nigel. So I would like to get these finished. I'm stuck with the burners. I really don't know what to do about that. And I'm trying to do these on Chirpy's budget, so I don't really want to rush out and buy a couple of ceramic burners to fit in there. I don't think that's really justifiable on these, but I'd like to make something, and probably they had a tube boiler with a little tank and a rubber hose, which was kind of not only a fire hazard, but probably not as efficient as I would like to see it for this burner. I think this boiler, I don't think it's really got what it takes. So anyone who's got thoughts on that, send me a link or a picture or something, because I could get these out. They're ready to go, except for the burners. So they're done. They just need a couple of burners. So you've got time to subscribe to Chirpy's channel if you haven't already and see him actually make the engine. Do a sketch, Paddy. Anyone who wants to do a sketch and stick it on Discord or email it to me, that'd be awesome. But it needs a pretty big bushy frame because it's a big boiler, really. Anyway, we're sort of an hour in. I'm probably going to say we're going to end this because I want to start a 3D print and want it finished before morning. That's a bit slack, isn't it? And look out for another video, or probably some sort of video this coming week or weekend, and also the second part of the pump video, which I'll put up on YouTube. And there will be hopefully a gas valve video on Patreon. and maybe even this thing running, which would be awesome. So there we go. That's the hopeful bit, but there's still a few little bits to make on this, and there's a bit of work in it. But anyway, we'll get there. Nap before work sounds awesome. If you can get up again, I had a nap before work this morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. and it was pouring with rain, like absolutely bucketing down. So I sort of went back to sleep for an hour or two. We must have had about 10 mil of rain in about half hour. Anyway, take care, everyone. Be kind to each other. Post content for Chirpy, and ignore politics and model engine politics too, which is not really worth the hassle of investing time and money and blood, sweat and tears into. And make something. That's where we're at with that. Yeah, go to the wife. Be good and be kind to each other, and more soon, guys and girls. I'm out.